It's the #1 e-beggar on the internet, Revelation News. I want to be the best e-beggar possible.
So, why do I make racist jokes? Well, I'm gonna be honest. Because I can.
Yo, 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 yo! Shanny been talking a lot of smack about your boy. So now it's time for them both to get owned. Shanny's a witch who got kicked from Twitch. She spent Rev's money when he was almost rich. To 900 pounds of a reprobate whose god is oil called Delta 8. Shanny the Hut, my answer is no. Never show your money to that 5-cent hoe. You're nasty and trashy, you look like a booger. You 700-pound looking barracuda. Shit, you got cancer, that's a bold-faced lie. You're breaking PA laws, making money off lies. Shanny's been dying for the last 10 years. Ain't nobody falling for those crocodile tears. Shanny, you're a con, a 6-foot whoopie. Ram kicker out, I'll buy you some cookies. Please take a shower, then get the weed. Go find a job and stop begging for weed. Then shut your mouth. I don't kiss butt cause you gave me a house. You beg for money just to get laid. Stop sleeping with Shanny before you get AIDS. Rev is a joke who's addicted to dope. He rather buy drugs than buy Shanny soap. You don't love Shanny, you don't love God. You lazy little boy who won't get a job. This is for Zach, Revelation News. Did you like jail cause you're going back soon for supporting a scam done by your hut who sold her body like a cheap slut? I don't play nice, but I do it sassy. We all know you ain't that nasty, fat nasty. She used you, Rev, and now you're broke. Now she begs G-Man to buy her smokes.
Talking about my wife. So, hey G-Man, what's up? It's Rev here. You know, I've been waiting for you. But anyway,
Hello everybody, welcome to the Sowing and Reaping YouTube channel. Got a few things that we need to cover here today. But I'm ultimately going to be talking about what Jason can do to ultimately change his life and move in a positive direction and prove that it is actually possible with him. But before I do that, I want to address a few things that has been said on the internets. And I know it's internet. I said internets. They try to be funny. All right. But I want to address a couple of things that was said about me by a few people on here. And then we're actually going to get to the Jason stuff. And then we're going to talk about what happened earlier today, which I had a lot of fun doing. They kind of deserve that, you know. So we're going to get into that. So first and foremost, let's address Miss Hussey. Miss Hussey, out of all of the things that you talked about on your YouTube channel that I did not cover in my previous video, I'm going to cover one of them, at least one or two of them today. And that first one is that you said that you think that G-Man might have some mental issues. Listen, Miss Hussey, I know that, you know, we have our channels and we want to entertain the people that are watching us. And we know that we want to, you know, try to keep our audiences satisfied and everything and whatnot. And I get it. I understand that there are people out there that don't like me. And there are some people out there that will never like me and everything and whatnot. But one of the things I strongly recommend you never do again is tell another person that they have mental issues. I'm a heterosexual male. And when I go outside of my place, I'm a heterosexual male.
when I go to work, I'm a heterosexual male. Or are you following me here? Okay. When I see other men outside, at least the majority of them, I say about 90% of them, no, maybe 95 of them, all of them are hetero. Most of these men, whether they be heterosexual or not, they present themselves as being a man. You, however, Miss Hussey, are calling you're a man walking outside with a wig, lipstick, and a dress, and you're saying that I have mental issues. So that's all I'm going to say about that. If you're going to try to argue that I have mental issues or that I might be struggling with something mentally, the only thing I can say about that is go to your bathroom, go look in the mirror, and make sure you think about it before you say it on social media, or you might get your feelings hurt. That's number one. Number two, Miss Hussey, you said that I didn't answer any of your questions, right? And I actually went through something earlier today. We're going to go through that first, and then we're going to kind of get to the Jason stuff in a minute. Some of you are going to be surprised how fast we get through this other topic. But apparently I don't answer questions. Could G-Man have done more? My answer is, and my answer will continue to be, that I did enough. You didn't answer the question, G-Man. I did enough. Now, let's just look at it from this perspective. What did I have to do? What was my moral obligation in that whole situation? I'm not married to Shani, and those ain't my kids. I'm going to keep it 100%. What was my moral obligation in that situation? Maybe mind my business and let them just go through what they're going through? Don't live there? Let them sleep in a car or something like that? Because I ain't have to do nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you get on here and you say, G-Man is supporting abuse. And this whole narrative is coming on here that G-Man supported abuse. Which brings me to the next topic of all of this. I want to screen share stuff with you guys, and I want you guys to take a look at this later. Okay? Yeah, you'll have to support a channel that you might not like, but I really, really want you guys to go watch this particular video, because I'm not going to do it here because I know these guys and I know what they're going to try to do. So, I want y'all to take a look at this here. This is a channel called FML Podcast. Now, this showed up on my notification thingy for some reason. I'm not even sub to the channel, right? But this showed up on my notification thingy, right, on my phone. Maybe because my name was in my YouTube name was presented on this or whatever. And they was talking about me, and then naturally they were saying a lot of stuff in here I didn't agree with. So I went in the live chat. Let's see if we can find that. It's not up here yet, but tomorrow, I guess, when everything is fully up here, or if they enabled it, you'll be able to see when what they were saying, and then the point in when I started talking in the live chat. Or if you watch the video, you can actually see for yourself when I actually go in. But I'm all the way toward the end here. I would go in and start watching this around 1 hour and 29 minutes, I think, for the build-up of me coming in, maybe a little bit further back. This is a pretty entertaining show here, because I pretend to be angry in here and pretend to be upset, and I make threats on here, but I ultimately troll the ever-living daylights out of them when I'm in this room, which I do on a regular basis whenever I'm dealing with these kind of YouTubers, because you can't expect to have a serious conversation with people who don't want to have a serious conversation. So I had a lot of fun with that one. But the reason why I bring that up is that one of the main points that was brought up in that particular room, besides all of the trolling that happened in there, and believe me, it was a lot of it, and it was a glorious troll fest. The point that was brought up yet again is that G-Man is enabling, or G-Man what is it? G-Man in other words, they're trying to say that because if you go look at the show, you'll see what I'm talking about. But one of them went in there and they said that because they lived in the house, I kind of enabled the the abuse that went on in there. If you're a sensitive person and you have thin skin, don't watch no more of this stream. Go watch somebody else's channel, because I'm going to hurt their feelings today. I'm going to hurt a lot of people's feelings today who have that narrative that I somehow condoned child abusers while they were living under my roof, when I didn't have to do nothing for these people. And when I say these people, let me be very specific about what I'm talking about, because one of the things that we lack here on social media is men, is men being men and women being women, and just saying it, just coming out and just being blunt. You ain't got to worry about that with me. I'm going to be blunt about what I believe and what I think. So, I didn't have to do nothing for Shanny. I didn't have to do nothing for Rev. I didn't have to do nothing for William. And I didn't have to do nothing for Zachary. I didn't have to do absolutely nothing. And that is my response to Hussey. That is my response to HMM and Billy of the Geek Room, and anybody else out there who want to throw this narrative at me and say that I could have did more and all this other stuff and whatnot. Now, you already know what one of my responses was. One of my responses was, what did you do when they were living inside of that house? Oh, we called the authorities. Now, what I just said is not for everybody, because these are older YouTubers that we're talking about or whatever. And then we're going to bring it back to the present. But a lot of them were calling, the authorities and CPS. Even some of the people in this community was actually doing it when they were living inside of my house, right? So if people was already doing it, what's one more person? The mindset at this particular time is, I'm friends with these people. That's why we're saying, G-Man, that you turned the blind eye. That's lazy thinking. That's lazy thinking. In order to report abuse, you have to see abuse. And an empty refrigerator is not abuse. Jason didn't have a job. Shanny didn't have a job. Like, seriously, this cupcake generation is just hilarious to me. Like, honestly, I believe that if I saw an empty refrigerator, which I saw today actually in my real life and whatnot, we actually got a good laugh on that one when I told them what was going on here on social media, busting out laughing, man. I had like slobber coming out of my mouth. Hey, I'm supposed to call CPS on you because you only got milk and a little bit of cheese in your refrigerator because you ain't go food shopping yet. Like, I literally was making fun of Hussey in my real life with some of the goofy stuff that he was saying on here, and some of the other people on the other YouTube channel over there, the Geek Room or whatever, right? So, I have to take accountability for something I didn't see, right? I was on several people's YouTube channels because now we're going to talk about accountability and whether or not G-Man admits that he's wrong about anything, which I'm actually quite offended by, because when I stopped being friends with Shanny, if I'm not mistaken, as a matter of fact, the video is on this YouTube channel. It might be in private, but it's on this YouTube channel. How many of you remember when I stopped being friends with Shanny and Rev? What was some of the first things that was coming out of my mouth? I apologize to Burnt Toast. I apologize to Jules. Apologize to Dragnut. Apologize to Miss Parker. Apologize to this person. I'm glad this person had an archive channel, and I was doing this left and right. But now the narrative is G-Man doesn't admit when he's wrong. All of a sudden, everybody got amnesia as if the internet forgets. And the internet doesn't forget. The internet didn't forget a whole lot of things. You'd be surprised what you can find if you actually look for it here on social media and some of these other channels. You'd be shocked what you'll find. But we're not going to go there today. I just want to just say that in terms of that family, I didn't have to do nothing for them. Absolutely nothing. And if you try to argue, this is what cracks me up. They're so desperate to try to make me look like I'm Shanny, or I'm just like her. They tend to forget that Shanny's number one argument, I want y'all to hear me on this one now, okay? Shanny's number one argument was, you owe me because I gave you a house. That was literally her number one argument. Now there are some people trying to use that argument now. Oh, you had to do it because they gave you a what? That's what Shanny said to me. So in my mind, I'm like, what? Where you get that from? You must be crazy. No. Number one, Shanny, it wasn't your house. It was his house. And if there's anybody I'm going to help, it's going to be him. Like, the fact that I got to explain this again just kills me. It's all over YouTube. It's on documentaries here on YouTube. You got to really be playing stupid to act like you didn't hear me say those things, right? So Yeah, so they're trying to say that I won't take accountability because I won't admit that I saw abuse. I saw things in that house that I didn't agree with in terms of parenting, but if I'm going to report abuse, it's going to be because I saw abuse. Okay, or I saw something that was actually going on in there. Not that I heard something, but I actually saw it. Some of us don't operate on our emotions. And by the way, for the people that are arguing that way, that's called an appeal to emotion, where you're just doing things because you just feel like you need to do it, instead of gathering the facts and being able to show these people something hardcore or whatever, or trying to make a difference myself. Because I had the esteem, I was in a position where I could be a cause for change, where I could make them do certain things. One of the things that you'll notice differently from when they lived in the house when I had it, when I owned it, as opposed to when they lived with the uncle kind of let them do whatever they wanted in there. Me, however, I didn't do that. I didn't let them just do whatever they want, especially when I was there in person. And I was friends with them at the time. But I didn't let them just do whatever they want. All right. So this narrative that G-Man's an enabler, literally, when you go watch HM, what the heck is the name of this channel again? The video is called World War G-Man. It's called FML. This is goes to show I don't know who this person is. FML, right? He claims I know who he is, and I really don't. I will when I get done digging, though. I know that much. But my people are on it, trust me. But as far as this, again, the narrative that they made on that YouTube channel was I gave them somewhere to live, therefore I was enabling it. Okay, all right. I gave them somewhere to live, therefore I was enabling it. And it goes back to the old argument that they were making because I was their friends in the past. That makes me a piece of garbage today because I was friends with people like that. And if you watch that stream, you'll hear me mention, aren't you friends with this person? Aren't you friends with this person? And they did not like it. They did not like it. You know what I mean? So it's just the hypocrisy on here with some of these claims. The point is that in 2026, I am not friends with Jason. In 2026, I am not friends with Shani. 2026, I don't really have a lot to do with those two. I talk about them on this channel, but I don't really have a lot to do with them, right? But I'm also noticing that this also came about when I had like a lot of people watching me, which is rare for people at that number to actually pay attention to what I was saying on here, because I'm not on here all the time. Most of the time, I'm either on my other channel or I'm living my real life. You know what I mean? I have a ministry that I actually do on my other channel and things that I do in my own personal life. I'm a very busy person. I don't upload all the time. So I was just assuming they haven't seen me in a while, and they all just wanted to hear what I had to say about what was going on with with the whole Shani and Rev thing and whatnot, right? So I don't know. All of a sudden, everybody wants to all of a sudden get on me and say, "Oh, G-Man, you're this, you're this, you're this." And I also got another theory that Hussey ain't got nobody else to talk about, so he wants to talk about me. But it's all right because I think I kind of covered what I wanted to do with Hussey with this. I don't have a mental issue because I don't answer a question the way you want me to answer it. Okay? I don't have a mental issue because I didn't answer the question the way you wanted me to answer it. Okay? And if you're going to attack me on that level, you walk outside and see how many men outside your house, even if you're in a village in New York, go walk outside your house and tell me how many men that you see walking around with a wig and with lipstick on and walking around with a dress calling themselves Miss Hussey. Like I said, if you're going to argue mental illness, you're going to lose that one over and over and over with me every single day, twice a week. Twice on Sunday. Okay? So, Hussey said this, I believe, in one of those streams where they were covering the video that I did, either when I was in the room with them or when I was covering them in the room on this YouTube channel. So I don't like statements like that when people make statements like that, because if you're not even acting normal yourself, you ain't got no business talking about another person's mental condition or whatever, right? So let's get into the meat and potatoes of why I started this particular video here today. And that's Jason can change, but it will be very expensive. And I am not talking about in currency. I'm talking about in terms of oh, Hussey, you might want to pay attention to this part. Even though I know you've seen this before. You said that you never seen Jason prior to Shanny. I'm not playing this whole video. I'm gonna play enough of it where he can see what this guy was like before Shanny. All right. This is one of the reasons why I believe a couple of things about Jason that some people are going to disagree with me on. And that's fine. You can disagree with me. It's not a crime to do so. This is found on the Fat Courtney Love YouTube channel. It doesn't take a lot of time to find this particular video. This is Great Debate Days. This is the days before he was in a relationship with Shanny and before he gave me the house.
Hey guys, love you. JWE here. RevelationNews.net. You know, it's from the reading of the Word. The Word. That we get understanding. And Jesus was the Word, is the Word. Gospel.
Now, as far as theology-wise, I mentioned this before. I don't necessarily agree. I want to get through this video as quickly as possible because even now people are going to be accusing me of doing this for views, right? So anyway, I kind of hope Jason sees this, to be perfectly honest. But I wanted people to be reminded of what he was like before he got involved with Shanny. He's an alcoholic in this particular video. Let me say this again. He is an alcoholic in this video. Listen to me, he was diagnosed Social Security Administration. He was rejected by Social Security when he claimed that there was something mentally wrong with him. We talked about this in the past. I made several videos. I showed the Social Security on camera where I showed you that he was rejected. Okay. I am challenging this idea that the guy is a nut job. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why he is behaving the way he's behaving and why I believe there's hope for him. I'm going to do a Shanny video. That's going to be like maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday because we got a huge snowstorm coming in our direction over here in New Jersey. And I want to make sure my internet is okay and everything during that particular time. So maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll do one on Shanny and what she needs to do to change, even though there's more hope for Jason than there is for her. And I'll show you why I believe that, because Shanny has been pretty consistent from the time the Great Debate Days to today. And you're going to see what I mean when you look at these videos that I'm going to show you. All right. So, yeah, Jason's an alcoholic during this time. He's during the Great Debate Days. You can see him in the Great Debate actually going back and forth, able to use his head to discern what he believes is right and what he believes is wrong. He's able to make decisions about who he's going to give to. Let me see if I have this this other channel on here, because I strongly recommend you guys get a hold of who would be somebody in this community that would know about this. Nah, don't worry about it. I'll do it myself because you guys ain't going to probably dig like that. But the channel is called The Debate Coliseum. I'm going to show you guys the channel right now. Just give me a second here. Jason, before he got involved with Shanny, was helping this lady named Nadia Chambers. Right? Let me show you here real quick. Let me see. I got to show you guys this here real quick. Hold on. Why are they showing me this? This is not what I'm looking for. Hold on. I don't really need to show you guys this right now. I can wait until I do the Shanny. Let me see. Nadia. All right. Let me see. All right. Here we go. On this YouTube channel, there was a transgender woman. A transgender, let's just say woman. Her name was Nadia, right? We all knew her in the community, and we all expressed our views and our opinions towards Nadia. But this is the channel here called the Debate Coliseum. Nadia, let me show you who Nadia is real quick. If I can find what's the videos at. Where is Nadia at? That's the other guy. Let's go oldest. Okay, this is Nadia right here in this picture here. I don't know if you guys can see open discussion number 7. Oh, no. We need to okay, you can see it. Okay. In open discussion number 7, that's Nadia right there. But the point of the matter is there was a time when Jason was donating money to Nadia because Nadia was suicidal. This is important. Okay, she was suicidal. She didn't have no food, and she participated in the Great Debate community to support herself to be able to make money. She would do streams sometimes for 8 to 9 hours. Go look at the channel and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, these streams used to be long. All right, but Jason used to donate to Nadia. Okay, I saw on one of his laptops that Nadia sent him a picture. You know what I mean? But the point of the matter is they had a relationship in terms of like a friendship and whatnot. He wasn't this stingy person or whatever. He was the type of person who, if he saw that you needed something, he would give it to you. Now, that's about as far as I'm going to go with being like nice with his generosity and all of that and whatnot, because a lot of you know the rest of the story regarding him with that. But I'm trying to paint a picture of what this guy was like before he got involved with Shanny, because after he met Shanny, whatever he was hiding in here, whatever he was, trying to keep a secret or whatever, it all came out, and we all know about, what came out regarding him. But if you watch him as an alcoholic, because he was drunk on some of these streams, he had outbursts during those hangouts. Not the way he has outbursts now. He was more controlled. He tried his best to watch his mouth. Okay, he was a Christian truther, according to him, right? He was a truther. Then he got involved with Shanny, and I'm telling you, that guy's life went completely because number one, Shanny isolated him. Now I'm looking at this from 2020. I'm looking at this from hindsight. Okay, Shanny. Well, actually, some of this ain't hindsight because I figured some of this out after I got into my thing with them regarding the eviction and all that stuff and whatnot. But she isolated him. He was literally getting all of his information about her from her. That's why he still believes that she has borderline personality disorder, and that's why he believes all of this stuff's true about her, because he was isolated, and Shanny told him all of these things. Shanny started indoctrinating him with political views, indoctrinating him when it came to sexuality, indoctrinating him when it came to money, indoctrinating him when it came to family, indoctrinating him into all of these things that he believes today, which is why he's a confused mess today, because Shanny is the predominant not manipulator, the predominant influencer in her life. I'm sorry, in his life. Okay, when it was just him and alcohol, he was a way better person. He would have fit right into this community. When he was single, and he was an alcoholic. When he got involved with this woman, this dude is completely and totally changed. Racial slurs, putting down the poor, treating Shanny like she's a deity, promoting scams, premeditated. Well, actually, if you look at the cancer thing, it's actually a crime, but premeditated crimes. They would get together and they would say, you're going to say this and I'm going to say this, and we're going to bring the conversation here or there or whatnot. He knew what he was doing. He admitted that he lied for Shanny. He admitted this. Okay? And all of this came from Shanny's influence. Now, actually, hold on. Let me talk about the breakup here a little bit before I go into what I'm going to talk about. During the breakup, you'll notice he said, "Oh, G-Man was right. You're, right about you what you had to say." Betty was right because of what Betty had to say regarding Shanny. He started looking at all these other videos and started realizing that Shanny was lying to him about a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And then he, supposedly they broke up. And now he's supposedly in some mental place or whatever, for what I hear. I don't know if that's true. The people, actually, you guys know more than I do because I refuse to dig into it. But he's apparently in this mental thingy or whatnot, where he's trying to, I guess, have somewhere to live or whatever. But the point of the matter is, once the Shanny influence came off of him, you had the confused, disgusting mess You had the confused, disgusting mess that was Jason. He didn't know if he was male or female. He didn't know if he could fight or if he couldn't. So he talked a real tough game when he was in Boulder, Colorado. Okay. His political views completely changed. Like this, like I don't know how you go from believing in things that loose change to it, or believing that 9/11 was an inside job, to believing the stuff that he believes now. Like he made a complete 180, 360 or 180. He made a complete one. He did a complete 180 in his thinking because of Shanny's influence on him. She would get mad at him or sabotage his streams if he had a different political view. You know what I mean? She completely and utterly destroyed this guy. And then when somebody tried to come into his life to say, look, do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and it's going to fix all, he didn't want to do it. Like I said, the truth was really coming out concerning Jason. And I believe that there is hope for him to change, but there's got to be some changes. And these changes in his mind is going to be expensive because it's going to involve him making some minor decisions. And by the way, shout out to this person who left this comment on my channel. I absolutely agree with this comment 1,000,000,000%. Somebody went on my YouTube channel, and you know who you are because I just recently liked your post. So I'm going to give you a shout out in a minute. I'm going to read this to everybody. Just give me a second here. Gotta find it. Which video was it? Okay, where is it? I want to show everybody what I'm talking about here real quick. Let me go to my videos. No, it was a live. Let me see, which one was it? Wait a minute. Okay, that video is still live right now. That's why it says that. Okay. But I want to show everybody how he can change and what he's got to do. But somebody left a really good comment, and I can't find it on my phone. Give me a second here. I'm going to try to find this here. G-Man responds to Hussey. G-Man is special guest. It might be G-Man is special guest. Let me see if it's this one. All right. Actually, is this him here? Here we go. I found it. Here we go. Shout out to After the Rain Beth, or After the Rain _ Beth. Shout out to you, because this comment right here, I believe, tells the entire story of what happened. And I'm going to read this here in a minute so everybody can see this here. So nobody thinks I'm making this up, okay? Jason thinks he can fix, Jason thinks he can't. That's the key word there. Jason thinks he can't fix his miserable life because he's too broke, depressed, and mentally ill. That's Shanny talking there, by the way, okay? Not him. Because if he would have got rid of Shanny sooner, he would be healed by now. He doesn't realize it's his refusal to fix his miserable life that has caused him to be broke, depressed, and mentally ill. Taking baby steps to fix his life will also fix everything else. But he thinks, hold on a minute. I'm using my phone here. Okay, here we go. But he thinks he's a lost cause. He has never known the sense of purpose, value, and self-respect you get when you come from a 9-to-5, pay your bills, respect your spouse, and receive it back. He might have been struggling with alcohol, but he was grieving for his mother. She died in 2012, and he met Shanny in 2017. His real descent began the moment he let Shanny into his online life and then his real life. He claims God brought them together. No, the other guy did. Amen and amen on that one. Shanny was pretending to be a Christian to lure him in. She knew he had money. She knew he was vulnerable and planned her whole manipulation into his life. Kept him wet-brained to get control of his money and move them all to Colorado so she could be stoned all the time. Not only did God not bring them together, Jason left his path of faith. Yep. Jason left his path of faith when he let her in, and he's been lost in the wilderness ever since. He just can't see. It's vital for his mental and spiritual health and his actual physical life that he now stays far away from her. He won't survive another round of this, but I'm not sure he will. They're both too afraid to face life alone. They'll hate each other, but they still rather stay together. There's no bigger Jezebel than Shanny, if Jezebel was a thing. Yeah, believe me, it is. And again, a shout out to After the Rain _Beth. And so everybody can see that that is not fake. All right. It was a combination of Jason not having enough discernment to realize what he was getting into with Shanny, and the fact that when he stayed with her, he just started eating everything that she was saying over time, because it didn't happen right away. It happened over time, where his spiritual, political, and just who he is as a person completely changed from being around Shanny. I mean, think about this a minute. For the people that's been watching Jason since day one, they did porn. She manipulated him into doing porn. And they made a whopping $9 for what I understand. That can only come when a person has dominated your mind to such an extent that you just believe everything that person tells you. But there's hope for Jason. And one of the first things that he needs to do, and I think he's kind of doing it right now, hopefully he's sticking with it and not actually back with her, although that's probably the case. But if he's made it this far and he hasn't gone back to her, the very first thing I think that's going to change this man's life is he's got to acknowledge that that he has allowed his relationship with Shanny to mold him into who he is today. He has to admit that. He has to accept that, and he has to own that. He's got to be able to come out his mouth and say, this woman used me, and he has to own it. He has to be able to come out his mouth and say, this woman used me physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. He's got to be able to admit these things. Admitting these things are important because now you can't go back and say, I don't have these issues or whatever. You got to admit this stuff. I think what's going to help him, if he can go somewhere where he can talk about what makes him so angry all the time. Because we've seen these episodes where he would just get upset and he would just go, just say a lot of just disrespectful things to people and whatnot, calling them the C word, calling them a whole bunch of different things and whatnot. He wasn't innocent back in the Great Debate days. If he got mad at you, he said certain things, but it was never on that level. That didn't happen until he got involved with Shanny, and all that self-control went out the window. All right. So he's got to get in a group setting or something like that, or with somebody one-on-one. He's got to start talking about what gets him angry all the time. What sets him off? What people say that gets him upset? He's got to be able to feel comfortable. He's got to be in a safe space with somebody. I don't care who it is. It has to be with somebody that's going to actually listen to him, where he can express what people says to him that's going to cause him to lash out on people, and then be allowed to actually do that with that person in that safe space so that people can understand and empathize with him on what he's going through. Then he has to take steps to stop doing it. The other thing I think he needs to do is he needs to learn some structure. This dude is never just going to just get up and just go get a job like that. That ain't going to happen. He has to learn some structure. I think he's the kind of guy, from being around him and being away from him too now, that he needs to have a schedule where he gets up in the morning, he makes up his bed, he showers, and somebody supervises him, make sure he's doing these 3 things. He has some type of chore that he's got to do, you know what I mean, on a regular basis. He has to be able to do something where he's learning something new. Maybe go get a job skill or something like that. Then come back, do some more chores and whatnot, and just have a structure and get used to doing that, because that's going to train him to be able to have a job. All right. If he can successfully do that, the next thing that he needs to do, I don't care if the job pays him $1 or $1,000, he needs to get a 9-to-5 job. This is why I agree with this YouTuber so much when they left this comment here. I don't know who that is, but they're right. He needs to get a 9-to-5. He needs to stay busy, and he needs to stay off of social media. He is not built for this anymore. He's not strong enough for this no more. He needs to stay off the internet. The reason why he got as bad as he did, because Shanny manipulated him and get in front of this camera when he didn't want to do it in order to get money, instead of actually going out there to get a job. But I also blame Jason for this too. He should have been man enough to say, you want to know what? I can't take all of the stuff that people are saying in the comments, so I'm going to try to go get me a 9-to-5, which he clearly didn't want to do because Jason's lazy. Nothing to do with this manic episodes and whatnot. These people are acting like that because they got a drug problem. He has a drinking problem. That is why he's behaving like that. Then when they went through withdrawal, you really got to see how they was behaving. Shanny didn't allow this man to have no space to breathe, to be able to go have a life, hang out with some friends, to get away from her for a little bit. The only opinions he ever heard when he was with her was Shanny and himself. So naturally, you would know how happy he would be, you know, when a person like me would come over or his uncle would come over and he got to talk to him about something other than what Shanny wanted to talk about. You know what I mean? And he knows this is true. He knows this is true. He's got to get rid of this lazy bug. He needs structure. He needs somebody to stay on him about that structure. There needs to be consequences for when he does his structure that are good, and there needs to be consequences that are bad when he doesn't keep that structure. He's got to be taught how to have a job and realize the benefits. And this is why I agree with this YouTuber again on the satisfaction of how it feels to go to work. Listen to me. Even if you're making minimum wage, you work for that money. You earned that money. You come home and say, look at what I got. This ain't pity. This isn't me begging. I earned this. Even if all he had enough money for was a hat with a big hole in it, I worked for this hat. And it gives you a certain amount of pride. It builds up your self-esteem. But when you're being indoctrinated by Shanny, and I'm going to abstain from the name calling for this video, because I got one I'm going to make for Shanny. But because Jason ain't all innocent, and I'm going to rip him a new one about the whole William thing and whatnot later in a separate video. But he just keep listening to Shanny. Oh, we can make our money with YouTube. We don't gotta work. We can just do YouTube and do YouTube and do YouTube. And they come up with all of these scams. They knew what they were doing. That's why I'm not buying the mental illness stuff. That was the result of them doing drugs. Now, there's an issue with IQ. That can come into play. But the point of the matter is, you can't be on that on those kind of substances for the period that they was on them and then think that you're going to act normal. It don't work that way. You got people out there using LSD and using all kinds of drugs and whatnot, and they're claiming that they're seeing people flashing out of existence. You know what I mean? They're having conversations with beings from outer space and whatnot because they're using a drug or whatever. Not buying a mental illness thingy. I am buying mental anguish that this man went through being around Shanny. So yeah, he needs some structure. He needs to get a job. he needs to stay off of YouTube. And he has to learn. Oh, no. Actually, hold on a minute, because there's something else he needs to do. He needs to go to a dentist. He needs to do something about his teeth. Like I said, I'm talking from experience. His teeth looks like, let me show you. They look like this. That's his teeth. All right. He needs to go see a dentist. All right. And then his tongue is like all different kind of colors too. You know what I mean? He needs to go see a dentist. He needs to focus on his hygiene. He really do. I think it would boost his self-esteem if he started washing his hair, combing it, and learning how to have social skills. And that's another thing that he needs to do. He needs to improve on his social skills. He's got to learn how to be polite. He knows how to be grateful. He knows how to say thank you for donating. He knows how to say thank you. I appreciate this donation that you gave me. But he's got to learn when to keep his mouth shut when he doesn't have something nice to say when he's dealing with people in person or whatever. He's got to learn when to speak when he needs to speak. And he's got to learn how to say things and mean what he say. And I think that'll build up his self-esteem, and he'll be able to see himself in a different light. And Jason, if you're watching this, you need to learn how to let go. Okay? You got too much of this. You got to learn how to let go. When you're holding on to something that's going to hurt you, let it go. Get rid of it. And don't be afraid. Because that is precisely the kind of person I am. If I got something that I have or I own and it's going to do me harm or it's going to hurt me, I'm getting rid of it. Bye-bye. Don't have this fear of loss when you're afraid to let things go. Because if you would have just let Shanny go when you were still in Scranton before you moved to Boulder, your life would be totally different. I'm not saying that the stock market wouldn't have took a hit if you was 100% in control of your money or whatever, but I am saying that your money would have lasted a whole lot longer. But when this dude was in charge of his money and Shanny wasn't around, he got his little money that he got out of the stock market. Now, mind you, he didn't fix the house. He didn't do the things that he was supposed to do with that. But the man bought groceries. The man invested. He wrote that book that he wrote. He invested in these vampire glasses that he was a part of a company with or whatever. But he basically, what I'm saying is he was more responsible with his money when he was alone than he was when Shanny came along just to use him or whatever. He would have still had his house. He would have. Well, I don't even know if that's 100% true, but I think he would have had the one that he gave me, because I know either way he still gave the uncle the other house and whatnot. One of the other things that Jason's got to learn how to do is that Jason's got to learn how to control himself. He's got to learn some self-control. He's got to learn when to and when not to. Okay? You got to learn when to speak and when not to speak. And you got to learn how to think before you speak. And stop being so gullible and believing everything that you're told. This is where I give certain people on the internet some credit here, because they're always preaching critical thinking. I believe that's true. I believe that this society would do well to have a little bit more of that, to be able to listen to something, think about it, and then act. Listen to it, think about it, and then act. I think that would benefit him if he learned how to do those things. Another thing that I think that Jason needs to do, he needs to go make masculine friends and stay away from, I'm going to catch heat for this, but stay away from as much feminine energy as possible and try to get around some masculine friends that are going to teach him how to behave and act like a man. Okay? To learn how to step up, take care of responsibilities on a much higher level, and to learn how to take care of yourself, and to learn how to endure difficult times. He has to learn how to do these things. He is not going to learn any of the things that I am talking about in this video being around Shanny. What he's going to learn being around Shanny is how to be lazy, how to starve, how to be a punching bag, how to be feminine, and how to be an absolute loser. That is what he's going to learn being around Shanny. He's going to learn how to be a criminal, a con artist, a fake, a fraud. To this very day, I've never seen any proof that Shanny has borderline personality disorder. But then she's diagnosing him with borderline personality disorder, and calling him manic, and calling him all this other stuff. Where is the medical records that say you have this? And I'm not speaking from ignorance because I've seen these papers. Where is the papers that says that you're manic and that you have these problems? No, you go through your little withdrawal. You act like a jerk to everybody, and then you want to go around and say, well, I got a mental issue. If you go to Fat Courtney Loves YouTube channel, because if you have mental issues, if you go to Fat Courtney Loves YouTube channel and you go look at those videos, as a matter of fact, don't I got one here ready already? Let me show you guys one of these videos from the Boulder, Colorado days real quick. And no, it's not. I'm trying to keep Shanny out the videos because Jason needs to see that this is about him. He has to take some responsibility. Let me show you something here real quick. Okay, so this is a video directed towards me, man, Shanny for Christ, 7/23/2019. I am not going to play the whole video. Watch how he behaves. And mind you, he's drinking a little and he's on drugs. But watch how he behaves.
All right, so now that the stuff is done with the house, you know, G, God bless your heart. Thank you for that, dude. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, brother. I have one thing against thee, and no, I shouldn't say it like that because, of course, I'm not trying to imitate Christ. You know, I'm just saying. Revelation News has.
By the way, what he just said there proves that he was spiritually immature at this time. The Bible says that we're supposed to be imitators of Christ. That what we see Christ doing is what we're supposed to be doing. So he's very spiritually immature in this video. Let me play this video again.
Uber Prince, both of these. You can't do a storefront on there. I wish you could, so that you guys could get the stuff. Because I know Veckel was on my Facebook. He's like, man, I like that shirt. How about this hat, man? That's embroidered, dude. You can't get these. Sorry. And behind me, check out the Prince, man. Here's Shanny. Look at how beautiful she is.
That's not how a mentally ill person behaves. That is not how a mentally ill person behaves. And there's a lot of these videos on YouTube where you can see him acting as normal as one of us is. The only difference is he's not very smart and he's gullible. I think he's using illness as an excuse so he doesn't have to work because he's scared and he's lazy. He's lazy. Okay, everybody should know this by now about him. He is insanely lazy. This video ain't about Shanny. This video is about Jason. So I just want to let everybody know that's why I'm not talking about Shanny. I'm talking about Jason here. One of the things that Jason needs to do, and I should have made this the first thing, that if he wants his life to completely change, he has to learn how to deal with stress. They both suck. No. Shanny might be a little bit better at handling stress. A little bit. Because she'll con everybody to try to get herself out of trouble. But Jason's not very good with dealing with a lot of stress. He's not good with it. He doesn't know what to do in real time. So I believe that one of the things that he's going to need to do to grow up and to improve and be better, to be a better version of himself, he needs to learn how to handle stress. He learn how to handle worry. I don't want to sound like no hypocrite because I'm not the best at this myself. And I'm talking about stuff in my real life, not how I handle things here on YouTube. I know for a fact that I can get better at this in my own personal life. I want to make sure I say this so I don't hear it later. You know what I mean? But Jason needs to learn how to handle stress a whole lot better than what he's doing. Because he goes just through a little bit and he just snaps on people. He's got to get some anger management. And all of these things involve self-improvement. That's why I said admit that he's got issues. He's got to admit that Shanny played a large role in the manipulations and the influence of how he behaves and how he acts. Then he's got to take responsibility for what he was doing before he got involved with her. He's got to stop telling everybody there was no adultery going on or nothing like that. He got to stop doing that. He has to admit to himself, and then anybody who confronts him about this, that yeah, there was some flirtation going on, that they did some things over the phone while she was still with Chris. He has to admit this stuff. I haven't heard him admit it yet. He refuses to admit it. And I think it's because he wants to keep getting these donations on the internet. And I've told him many times, you know, if you actually get on here and be yourself and not care about the opinions of everybody else, you might actually get more donations. Because people respect when you stand on what you believe and you speak your mind. People respect that. They don't want to see that fake mess. That's what they don't want to see. All right. So yeah, he has to learn how to deal with stress a whole lot better. Now, from a Christian perspective, I know some of you out there that are watching this are not Christians. The man needs Jesus Christ. He needs to bow the knee, and he needs to confess Jesus. He needs to believe in his heart that God rose up from the dead, and he needs to get saved. Jesus needs to transform him. And if I'm wrong about what he believed when his mom was alive or whatever, if I'm wrong about that, and I don't think I am, but if I'm wrong, then he needs to recommit himself. He needs to confess all of them sins that he committed when he was in Boulder and Scranton and all these other things and whatnot. As a matter of fact, I would go so far to say that he should probably stay away from the Truther movement and just focus on getting better himself. Become a stronger, smarter, more wise version of himself in order to get better, so that he won't fall victim to the next person that's going to try to do it. Because as sure as I sit here, there is going to be another person, male or female, it doesn't matter, that is going to try to manipulate him. They try to do it to me on a regular basis. I'm sure they try to do it to you guys on a regular basis, and they're going to do it to him again. He has to be smart enough to see it, pick up on it, and do something. He needs to go talk to somebody about being so codependent. He needs to go talk to somebody about being codependent. He has to learn how to be alone. And that's going to hurt. That's going to suck. That's why I put in the title, it's going to be very expensive, because he has to do the things that he doesn't want to do. He's got to learn how to be by himself. That way, when the wrong person comes along, you can say, no, my self-esteem and who I am is not predicated on me being with you. Then when the right person comes along, he'll be able to discern, based on the changes that he made in his life, that this person is right for me. Now, is Jason going to do any of these things? I seriously doubt it, but I pray to God that I'm wrong. I pray to God that I'm wrong. Another thing that Jason needs to do at some point in the future, if he goes through these changes, everything that I talked about in this video, and some people ain't gonna like me saying this, but there's a difference between talking about this situation and coming up with solutions for this situation, right? If he does everything that I told him to do in this video, right? Maybe take a few suggestions from the people in the community on what he needs to do to better himself. Maybe an add-on, a twerk here, a twerk there, a twerk there, a twerk there. Maybe he can one day, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, try to contact Zachary or William and apologize sincerely, admitting what he did and really having a real apology when he changes. Now, some people don't like that idea because they don't believe that people can change. But let me remind you guys about a couple of things in this community. And some people are not going to like me bringing this up. Okay. But it needs to be brought up. Okay. I'm not perfect. I've done stupid stuff on here too. I realized that I was doing stupid stuff and I stopped. In Christianity, we call that repentance, right? There are other people in this community that used to have substance abuse problems and they changed. They don't do it no more. They're different. They're better. If those people can change, there's hope for Jason. Will he change? I doubt it. If he does, will I be happy? Absolutely. Now, here's the $1 million question. Some people might ask me, well, G-Man, what if he goes through all of them changes? Will you be his friend again? I'll be friendly to him. I don't know about friends. I would have to say. If he went through all of those changes, because if you see a person actively trying to stop being the way they used to be, he's not dressing like a drag no more. You know what I mean? He's not dressing with a wig and he ain't doing that stupid mess no more. He's trying to better himself and get better and stay away from these from staying away from people like Shanny. He's trying to be truthful and honest in his conversations. He's working on himself. He has a job and he hates it, but he has a job and he's working at it. He's getting that paycheck. He's getting proud at the little bit of money that he's making, and then maybe a little bit more money or whatever. You see that progress. Of course, I'm going to be friendly with him. I'll be stupid not to, because then I can be guilty of unforgiveness. In Christianity, that's a very serious thing, because if I want my sins forgiven, then I got to forgive the people who sin against me. You know what I mean? So it's a very, 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 very serious topic. Look at Matthew chapter 5 and Matthew 25 for those particular verses for that. But for those particular chapter, for the information regarding that or whatever. But I got to be careful what I say, because I got other things going through my mind. So if people want to know why I'm being careful what I got to say, that's the reason. But Jason, social media is not for you. Like honestly, don't start no more channels. Delete. If you're watching this, do yourself a favor. Delete all of your platforms. Don't put it on private. Delete your channels and get better. Work on yourself. Get better and work on yourself. And for the love of everything that is holy, stay as far away from Shanny as humanly possible. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the very beginning. G-Man, why would you take him in and bring him under your wing? Lazy is the root of the problems of them both. Hey, G-Man is the subject of the Drunken Peasants tonight. G-Man isn't talking about the Minnesota Barracudas tonight. All right, let me see something here. Delta 8 didn't cause this, in my opinion. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm going to be in the midst of that one. We got at least maybe a little bit more than a foot coming our way. I think Shanny was 80%. No, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's another G-Man out there. The world is full of vampires. Yeah, there's no blaming weed on this train wreck. Yeah, I know a lot of people that smoke weed and go to work every day. Let me see. If he transformed his life, he'd get just as much attention online, only for the drastic changes. Yeah, you're right about that. Absolutely. Can you imagine 10 years from now? He does a YouTube video and we can barely recognize him. My goodness. I don't think it's stupid he made this video. I just want to know why he didn't get work experience before he met Shanny. Wasn't he like 32 or something when they met? Yeah. He came into a lot of money, and he wrote a book, and he got involved in the stock market, and he got involved with this vampire glass sunglass company. As far as like a 9 to 5, I don't know what it is, but he just has a thing against it. He doesn't want to work. And I think it has something to do with the money that you make when you go to work. I think it has something to do with that. I don't think it has anything to do with dealing with people itself alone. I think it's more to it than that. His mom supported him. Let me see. Oh God, you're totally right about that. Jason is what spare the rod, spoil the child means. Exactly. He should have been corrected, and Jason even admitted this. I mean, he blamed his mom for the situation that he was in when they came from Boulder to PA. But the point of the matter is that he knows that early on he should have been a little bit more diligent about getting a job. What would Jason have to live with me? Everything that I talked about regarding everything that I talked about in this video. Everything. And there would have to be real lasting change there. Plus, if he was actually doing that, he wouldn't need me, to be honest. He really wouldn't need me. Because everybody and their mama would be helping him. And people saw him making these changes. He stayed away from Shanny. He actually started doing all of these things. Everybody and their mama would be helping him. Vicky says, I think you're bringing up a lot of good points. One thing I will say is Jason sounds normal recently when I have talked to him on the phone. Being away from her is the best. Amen and amen. Let me put this on here so everybody can see this here. Being away from her is the best thing for him, and he is scared to do life normal. All right, guys. I mean, if he's willing to do the things that he's got to do, he knows my phone number. You know, and he knows other people's phone numbers on here. And if all he needs is somebody to be on the phone with him to comfort him and to tell him that we understand that we all been through the same things, I think that would help him. But he needs to stay as far away from Shanny as possible, because if he gets back involved with her, it ain't gonna happen. All this bad weather is coming from Shanny's cold heart. Wow. He's immature and was a mama's boy that never had to work. And now we are here. I'm sorry, here we are. My bad. Nobody wants a 9 to 5. The way to escape is building something on the side and sticking to it, not sinking into a money online scams. Okay. Let me see something here. When I talk to him, that's what we talk about. Him getting his life together, doing for himself, getting a job, living on his own. Exactly. Well, away from the manipulations of a person that beats you up when you don't agree with her. He told me the other day he's afraid because he doesn't have anyone. We all been there. We all been there. Hope Jason does change for the better. Thank you. He needed to hear the truth. Yes. She has been poisoned to every man she was involved with. Yep. Including me. Shanny definitely has her demons and has left a demonic energy in Jason. He needs to smudge out with Jesus and Sage. I don't know about Sage, but definitely with Jesus. Let me see something here. Jason does have a family. They might help. Yep. If he's enthusiastic about it and he shows them that he's serious and he's not joking around, yep, he'll get the support that he needs from his family. Because if Shanny would have been with him a couple of more years, he wouldn't even have that. Well, you can't blame Shanny, because if Jason wasn't messed up in the first place, they probably wouldn't have met each other. All right. He is afraid of being alone. Yep. Sorry, I'm not able to respond directly to anyone. I'm half driving and listening voice to text. I'd rather him stay away from people that are drinking. Exactly. He needs to stay away from that drinking too. He needs to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Let me see something here. Jason's family may have helped him if he and Shanny hadn't destroyed the house. Does he have it? No, he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, he has his uncle. He has a cousin. He doesn't have a lot of family members. He really don't. He lost his mom and his dad. And whatever close relatives. I think his grandmother and a couple of other close relatives that he had. Yeah, from what I understand, he got his uncle and a couple of cousins. That's it. Would you help him build a bicycle camper if he actually needs a father figure to help him learn how to build a simple box? Listen to me. There was a time I was going to give him a camper. The problem with Jason is that he wants everybody to give him things. And I really am on this tip now where he needs to start working for what he gets and have a sense of pride of it. Have a sense of pride after he works and gets what he gets. Will I help him if he was actually actively trying to get one? Absolutely. And wasn't playing no games. Not getting on here saying, GB, I'm sorry for calling you the N-word. And then I say something and he snaps on me. Nah, I ain't trying to hear that. And if he wasn't already drinking and doing drugs, he might have seen Shanny for what she was, I guess, if he'd been sober. No, I agree. He needs to earn. He needs to go out there and work. He needs to know what the value of $1 is, because he doesn't know. He really doesn't know what the value of $1 is. If he had to go out there and earn a check for $300 every week and realize how much disrespect he has to take from a boss, have to take orders, have to lower himself for the job that he has, deal with disrespectful coworkers. Oh, trust me, when he gets that money, he ain't gonna let it go so easy. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. Jason needs to take responsibility for his own life. Absolutely. He doesn't need a box. That guy needs to get in the habit of going to a job. He needs to get up at a certain time. He needs to come home at a certain time. He needs to get up at a certain time and go to work. He needs to come home at a certain time. And he's got to learn that life isn't give it to me because I said it. You got to go out there and actually work. You got to bleed. You got to sweat. You got to cry. And then when life gives you opportunities, when you get it in abundance, you will appreciate it more because you see how hard it is to get it. A lot of us know what that's like. He doesn't. He has zero structure in his life until he gets that. Exactly. We talked about that earlier in this video. You can take a look at it and you'll see what I mean. But I'm going to stop here with the chats. I was entertaining doing a fundraiser until I thought about it. No, he needs to earn his own money. He needs to earn his own money, and he needs to know what it's like to grind to make a living. Jason, I got a little bit more advice for you regarding what you need to do to get better. I heard you compliment me on how I saw through Shanny's nonsense. As far as the dating part goes, I think Betty talked about it or whatever, right? You need a standard. You got to be willing to believe something so thoroughly that you are willing to, in an extreme case, die for that principle, or at least lose friends over it. You got to stand for something. You need a strong standard. And you're not going to get that overnight. You got to spend some time going through some change. You got to be pruned. You got to be changed from the inside out in order to have a standard like that. You can't just change because you want to be everybody's friend. You got to have a standard and you got to stand on it. You got to plant your 2 feet, and then you just got to be strong, and you got to have that view or that opinion or whatever, and you got to stand on it. You got to stand on it. It's not changing for, to make this person happy or to make this person happy or to make this person happy. I'm pointing to myself. You know what I mean? You need a standard. All right. So, and the next time God puts a friend in your life like myself, take advantage of it, but not in a negative way. Learn as much as you can. Pour into that friendship and keep it moving. Don't let an outsider destroy what you have with a real friend. Because honestly, Jason, I really believe this. Once I left that situation between you and Shanny, you know what I mean? You lost the only real friend you ever had. I was more of a friend to you than Shanny ever was. I was more of a friend to you than Shanny ever was. It's just the truth. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I hope you do the things that I talked about in this video, Jason. But if you reappear on YouTube with Shanny, I don't think you're coming out of that relationship alive. Because next time, I think the woman's going to unalive you. Think about it before you just go rush and say, I'd rather be with her than be by myself. Being by yourself is actually pretty good. It's real good. There ain't nobody nagging you every 2 seconds. You want to play your game, you can play it after your work. You can sit back and you can relax. There's a lot of benefits to being single in 2026. Trust me. Because when you enter into a relationship, you know what I mean? Then you got to think about what the other person wants as well as what you want. So just think about that. All right? You got your freedom. Enjoy it. All right? Agreed. He won't see 50 if he goes back to her. Because next time she's going to end him. It might be a Chris Benoit situation. Like he really needs to understand that. All right. So, gonna wrap this up. Hope you guys have a good night. And let's address this elephant in the room before we go off of here. And I think this would be a little bit of fun here. There's a YouTube channel in here that's wondering if I'm going to doc drop Billy. If you have not seen this particular video here called World War G-Man, FML is responding to a video I did on YouTube. Around the 1 hour and 29-minute mark or 30-minute mark, I enter the room. They say some things to me to get me upset, and it's mostly Billy doing it. Okay. FML was simply saying that I wasn't answering no questions, and he was trying to say that I was this, that, and the other, and then completely contradicted himself once Billy came into the room, or when I left my comment there. They want to know if I'm going to doc drop them. And what they don't understand is when I went into this room and I realized that they didn't want to have a real conversation, they got trolled. They got trolled. And that is what happens, FML. If you're going to invite me into a room and you're not going to want to have a serious conversation and you're just going to try to get under my skin, I'm just going to laugh at you like I did in that stream. So if you want to get your laugh on, check that out, guys. I just went completely crazy on them in that room, busting out laughing at some of the things I know they believe. So, all right. So you guys take care. I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate everybody who came to watch. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are not subbed. If you want to donate to my YouTube channel, it is Gman3233. You do not got to donate because I'm going to make my videos regardless. Let me see something here. All my Shandy stuff is off of here. So I don't want to play that rap again. I'm just going to take it off and you guys have a good night.